Have you been facing long-term lower back pain? If so, a study just came out, and it's a very interesting study, and I didn't take the same thing out of it that the research took out of it. But well, let's dive into what it is. I'm Dr. Jeff Cumro, and I'm a developmental functional neurologist, and we work with people to basically change the effects that stress has on them, whether they're children that are facing neurodevelopmental disorders or they're people that are facing stress in everyday life. We take those people and we change the way that their brain and their body are working to give them a better overall outcome. And this one is going to apply to basically all of the population. And what happened in this study is they basically took people and they said, okay, do you have lower back pain? How many people have lower back pain? A majority of the population, right? And with that, it's a pretty easy study to do. You find plenty of participants on this. There are plenty of people that are willing to do this, and I believe it was done in Australia. But what they had these people do is walk more. And what they found is that as those people moved, they had less and less pain. Simple, right? So, does this mean that if you have lower back pain, you can just go and walk more and it's going to minimize that lower back pain? And the answer is a very, very solid maybe. It's not that easy, right? So, like I said, I take a little bit different outcome from this study than what the researchers took. And they said, if you walk more, you're likely to have less back pain. So, let's look at the underlying cause. What is lower back pain often caused by? In many cases, it's caused by inflammation. Now, the thing about inflammation is it's a very slow pain. That pain takes a little longer to get back to your brain. So, can you beat it back to the brain with other inputs? Absolutely. Movement is one of those inputs. As you start to move, you fire different nervous receptors that send signals to your brain, and they beat that pain back there. So, you're basically, it's not that you're really eliminating it, it's that you're kind of covering it up with that. You're just numbing the pain by movement. The other aspects of this is as you start to move, how do joints get nutrition? They suck things in, they push waste products out. So they suck in their nutrition and they push the waste products out. How do they do that? As they move, it changes pressure in there. So it sucks things in, it pushes it out. There's this constant ebb and flow that continues to bring things in and out of those joints. As you do that, you pump some of that inflammation out, right? So movement is a very big thing. The other aspects of this is, why are many people in lower back pain? It's because they sit too much. When they sit too much, they get weak. The core gets weak and they can't stabilize as well. So as you start to move more, you start to develop more of this stabilization. Now, why is this a solid maybe? The big thing is, if you are in this situation where you're sitting too much, absolutely, it's something that can absolutely help you. I highly recommend it. I will always recommend any kind of exercise to continue to move. But there is a population that I see that they move all day long. They still come in here with lower back pain. So what's going on with these populations? The thing about this is they're doing the same thing over and over again. So they're doing a lot of walking, they're doing a lot of standing, they're doing a lot of bending or twisting or whatever it may be, and they are constantly in lower back pain. Why? It's not so much that they're not moving. It's not so much the sucking in nutrients and the pushing them out. It's not so much that they have become weak in the core. It's that they have become dominant in certain muscles. So what I take out of all of this research is we need to vary our motions. It's not just doing motion. Motion is going to be a good thing for you, but you can't do the same things over and over again. Why? Because you get strong in certain muscles and you get weak in a totally different set of muscles. So when we have that imbalance there, that is what creates a lot of pain. So when we start to move in different ways, when we start to twist and we start to move backwards, we start to move forward, we start to move left and right, we start getting these different dynamics, we start getting different coordination in those muscles, we start getting balance in those muscles, we start seeing that strength develop, and we still have that element where the movement is beating that inflammation back to the pain, back to the brain. We still have that element where we're pumping out the inflammation and we're not having the buildup and the breakdown of things in there. So movement in general is always going to be something that I recommend, but it's not just as simple as if you have lower back pain, you need to move more. That's just an oversimplification of everything, and we all want simplification of everything, right? We want to be told, what do we eat? How much do we sleep? When do we do this? When do we do that? Because that's the easy way. The hard part is figuring out what is the right fit. And that's ultimately the magic in all of this, is if we can put together the right picture, you will succeed in it. But if we can't put together the right picture, you're going to continue to struggle. Now, where does chiropractic and all this fit? Does this mean you don't need a chiropractor? Does this mean you don't need a family practitioner? Does this mean you don't need a physical therapist? Absolutely not. What this means is that by doing these things, you can minimize the need for constantly going in acutely. You still need that care. You still need to basically, you need to put the movement in there. If you have an area that's not moving properly, you're always going to end up in pain, right? And that's where the healthcare aspect of it comes in. And this is where I will always recommend, stopping in every 3 to 4 weeks and getting a tune-up, making sure that those joints are moving the way that they're supposed to, making sure that you're getting balance in those muscles, making sure you don't have tightness, making sure you don't have dominance developing. And when we can stop that, that's where we stop lower back pain. That's where we stop upper back pain, for that matter, or any pain. It doesn't matter what kind it is. That's where we make the change that keeps you out of pain. But this does not eliminate the need for that, but it minimizes it. It means that you're probably not going to have so many days where you wake up and you're just stuck. You can't stand up straight. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't bend over. Whatever it may be, it's going to minimize those. But we still have to have some sort of insurance policy where we're getting that regular care, we're getting that regular movement, we're getting regular varied movements, that we are constantly in a state of balance, where we're constantly in a state of flux, and we're not stuck in one position or another doing the same things over and over again. So while this information is new, while it is exciting, it's a solid maybe, right? It's not going to work for everybody, because there are plenty of people that move all day long and they still have lower back pain. If you are somebody who sits a lot, movement is going to be a big thing for you. So definitely get out and walk more, get out and move more. But the more varied you can be in that movement, the better results you're going to get. So hope you have a great day. As always, I love and appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time. I know that that's your most valuable asset. And I will catch you next week on the next video.